I opened the front door as quietly as I could, but the sound still echoed louder than I wanted it to. It was just after 1:30 a.m. The house was dark except for one soft yellow glow spilling from the living room. Daniel was awake. He didn't say anything at first, just sat there on the couch, legs crossed, phone untouched beside him. The TV wasn't on, no book in his lap, just silence, like he'd been waiting there for a long time, watching shadows shift across the walls, thinking. "Hey," I said, too brightly. "Didn't expect you to still be up." He looked at me, not with anger, not even with suspicion, just a strange, unreadable calm. The kind that makes your stomach drop. The kind that makes you want to lie, even before you know why. "You're late," he said quietly. No sarcasm, no emotion, just that. I gave a small laugh, walking in a little too fast. "Yeah, it ran long. You know how these things go." Laura wouldn't stop talking. Then there was this traffic. I trailed off because he hadn't moved. His eyes didn't leave mine, but his expression didn't change either. There was something terrifying about how still he was. "Did you have fun?" he asked, still calm, like we were talking about a grocery run. Like this wasn't the conversation I'd been dreading. "Yeah," I said. "It was just casual. Nothing special." I shrugged off my coat, hung it up like I wasn't trembling underneath, but inside, I was unraveling, because 2 days ago, I met someone. A man from a different department who wasn't even supposed to be at the party. It started as harmless banter, a compliment here, a laugh there. But it didn't stop. He found me again tonight. And I didn't pull away when he leaned in a little too close. I didn't correct him when he whispered, "You don't seem like someone who gets seen enough." He didn't kiss me. I didn't sleep with him. But the betrayal didn't need a body to exist. It bloomed in the silence, in the way I smiled back. In the way I told myself it was fine just once, just a moment. And now Daniel sat there, the weight of something I couldn't name hanging between us. He stood up slowly and walked toward me. My heart pounded, but all he did was brush past me, pausing just long enough to say, "I'm going to bed." I wanted him to yell, to accuse, to throw something, maybe. But this was worse. "Daniel," I said, almost a whisper. He didn't turn round. He just walked upstairs, step by step, leaving me in the dark entryway with my lipstick fading and my lie still warm in my mouth. I stood there for what felt like an hour, and in that silence, I knew he felt it. Even if he didn't have proof, he felt the shift. The trust had cracked, and I was the one who fractured it. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of Daniel in the kitchen, plates clinking softly, the coffee maker humming. It sounded like any other day, like we hadn't stood in emotional ruins the night before. I got dressed quickly, brushing off the unease. Maybe he believed me. Maybe nothing had changed. But when I walked into the kitchen, he didn't greet me, didn't offer coffee, just slid something across the table, a printed photo. Me, from last night, laughing, head tilted to far back, my hand gently resting on another man's forearm, his hand still on me, casual, intimate, taken at the party by someone I didn't even notice. Daniel didn't sit down. He just stood there, arms crossed, watching me look at it. "Did you have fun being with other men?" he asked. I felt my face flush. "It wasn't like that," I said too fast. "He just made a joke and I laughed. That's all it was." He stared at me for a long time. I didn't ask what it was. I asked if you had fun. His voice wasn't raised, but it landed like a slap. Sharp, precise. He wasn't asking for an explanation. He was asking for honesty. And I didn't have it in me. "I didn't do anything wrong," I said, quieter now. "I didn't cheat." Daniel nodded slowly. "I didn't say you did, but it didn't make anything easier." The space between us was still heavy. The photo on the table, frozen in ink, made my life feel permanent. I tried to explain. He was just being friendly. It didn't mean anything. Daniel gave a short, breathless laugh, not amused. "You don't laugh like that with just anyone. I know your smile." That wasn't a stranger's smile. I had nothing left to say, because he wasn't wrong. I did feel something in that moment. Not for the man, but for the version of myself I got to be in front of him, carefree, wanted, not part of a routine, not invisible. And Daniel saw it. All of it. He picked up the photo and tore it in half. The sound cut through the kitchen like a gunshot. Then he looked at me and said, "It's not the picture, it's the version of you that showed up in it." And then he left for work. No fight, No yelling, just that one sentence, and the sound of the front door closing behind him. I sat down at the table, alone with the ripped photo. My chest ached. My hands shook, not because of what I did, but because I realized for the first time, emotional betrayal doesn't need a bedroom. It just needs distance, and I had put miles between us, and worse, I couldn't tell if I wanted to walk them back. That night, Daniel didn't come home at his usual time. I sat on the couch, replaying every word, every moment, staring at the front door like it owed me an answer. I didn't text. I didn't call. I was too afraid of what I might hear. When he finally walked in past midnight, he didn't speak. He didn't even look at me. He just placed his keys in the bowl, walked upstairs, and closed the bedroom door behind him. I stayed downstairs, not because I was avoiding him, but because I didn't know who I was in that room anymore. I felt like a stranger in my own home, no longer a wife, not quite a villain, but definitely no longer innocent. I slept on the couch that night, or at least tried to. The silence was so loud, it buzzed in my ears. My mind was a loop of everything I didn't say, everything I told myself wasn't cheating, everything I wanted to believe still could be fixed. By morning, the house was empty. Daniel was gone. No note, no message. Panic hit me hard. I rushed to check the driveway. His car was gone. That's when my phone lit up. One message. Don't worry. I just needed space. That was it. No anger, no emotion, just space. But that word, space, felt heavier than anything he could have said, because it didn't mean he was figuring things out. It meant he was done trying to hold it all in. I sat down on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. My stomach felt hollow, like something vital had been scooped out. I had always thought we could talk through anything, that we were built for repair, but now I wasn't sure we were built for anything anymore. Later that evening, Daniel returned. He came in quietly, as if he didn't want to wake someone who wasn't even sleeping. He didn't hug me, didn't touch me, just sat across the room, elbows on his knees, and then, finally, he asked, "Do you love me?" I nodded immediately. Of course I do. His eyes didn't move from mine. Then why did you go there? There it was, the one question I couldn't answer with a lie. I tried to speak. My mouth opened, but no sound came. Every reason felt like a paper-thin excuse. So I told the truth, the ugliest part of it. I wanted to feel alive again, I said, voice shaking, and I didn't know how else to ask for that. He closed his eyes for a moment. Then he said something that broke me in a different way. I thought I failed you, but now I see you just wanted something different. I shook my head, tears rising. I didn't want someone else. I know, he cut in gently. You wanted to be seen, but you didn't want to be known. I reached for him, desperate. Daniel, please. He pulled back, but not cruelly, just enough. I'm not leaving, he said. But things are going to be different now. He stood up and walked into the other room, left me there with my outstretched hand, the one that was too late. And for the first time, I realized love doesn't always leave loudly. Sometimes it stays and grows cold in front of you.